hello, sometimes you don't realize how much people are holding inside until they start telling you. After I spoke last time, I expected maybe a few responses, but what I received instead was something else entirely. Stories, long ones, short ones, some written in anger, some in regret, some in quiet honesty. People told me about things they had never said out loud before, things they had been carrying for years, and as I read through them, one pattern kept showing up again and again. Not big mistakes, not dramatic life events, just small truths that were never spoken, and it made me think how much of our lives is shaped not by what happens to us, but by what we choose not to say. My name is George. I'm 87 years old, and if there's one thing I understand now, it's that silence can quietly steal years from your life. Not all at once, not in a way you notice immediately, but slowly, over time. There was something I avoided for most of my adult life, not because it was too big to face, but because it felt too small to matter. At least that's what I told myself. My wife used to bring it up every now and then, never in a confrontational way. Just a simple question, asked gently. Do you ever think about going back and finishing what you left? And every time, without hesitation, I'd brush it off. I'm fine. It worked out. No point thinking about it now. Same answer, different day. After a while, it became automatic, like a reflex. But the truth? The truth was, I thought about it more than I ever admitted. Not constantly, but often enough that it lingered, like a quiet voice in the background. And the strange thing is, it wasn't the regret itself that weighed on me the most. It was the pretending. Pretending it didn't matter. Pretending I had made peace with it. That kind of pretending takes energy, more than people realize. One day, without planning to, I stopped pretending. We were sitting together just talking like we always did. And when that familiar question came up, something in me just let go. I didn't give the usual answer. I told her the truth. I told her that it stayed with me, that I wished I had done things differently, that I convinced myself it didn't matter, just to make it easier to live with. She didn't interrupt. She just listened. And when I finished, she looked at me and said, "You've been carrying that all this time, alone." That word, alone, stayed with me. Because she was right. I had chosen to carry it alone, not because I had to, but because I thought I should. That's the thing about these small lies we tell ourselves. They don't feel dangerous. They feel practical, efficient, even necessary. I'll deal with it later. It's not worth bringing up. No one needs to know. But those thoughts, they build distance, not all at once, but little by little, between you and the people around you, between you and yourself. I used to work with a man who everyone liked, easy to talk to, reliable, always calm. We spent years working side by side. We talked about everything, except anything real. Looking back now, I realize that. We stayed in the safe zone, work, weather, daily routines. And at the time, it felt normal. That's what most conversations look like. But after he passed, I learned something. There were things he had been dealing with for years, things he never shared with anyone at work. And it made me uncomfortable, not because I felt guilty, but because I realized how easy it is to know someone for years and still not know them at all. That's what silence does. It creates the illusion of connection without the depth of it. And once time passes, you don't get that chance back. The same thing can happen even with the people closest to you. Family doesn't automatically mean understanding. There can still be gaps, unspoken fears, unasked questions, unshared truths. Not long ago, my son opened up to me about something he had been holding on to for years. Not something dramatic, something simple, but deeply personal. He told me that a decision he made when he was younger wasn't based on what he wanted. It was based on fear, fear of failing, fear of not measuring up. And what struck me wasn't the decision itself. It was the fact that he carried that feeling silently for so long. We had countless conversations over the years, but not that one, not the one that actually mattered. And when it finally came out, it changed something between us. There was more honesty after that, more openness, not perfect, but real, and real is enough. That's something I've come to understand very clearly now. People spend so much time trying to appear strong that they forget what strength actually looks like. Strength isn't pretending you're unaffected. It's being honest about what affects you. But that kind of honesty requires risk. You risk being misunderstood. You risk being judged. You risk being seen differently. And most people would rather avoid that risk, even if it means staying disconnected. I see it all the time now, people holding themselves together on the outside, while falling apart quietly on the inside, saying I'm okay out of habit. Not because it's true, because it's easier. Easier than explaining, easier than opening up. But easy comes with a cost. Over time, it turns into isolation. You start to feel like no one understands you, when in reality, no one has been given the chance to. There's a difference, and it matters. I've had moments in my life where I chose honesty, and moments where I chose silence. And I can tell you this clearly, the moments of honesty, even when they were uncomfortable, those are the ones that brought connection. The silence only created distance. Now, at this stage in my life, I don't see much value in holding things back anymore. Not the important things. If something matters, I say it. If I'm grateful, I don't wait. If something is weighing on me, I don't pretend it isn't there. Not because I've figured everything out, but because I finally understand what happens when you don't. Time passes anyway. Conversations don't happen, and things remain unsaid. If you're listening to this, there's probably something in your life right now that you've been avoiding. Not a huge secret, just a quiet truth. Something you keep pushing aside. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to make big dramatic changes. Just start with honesty, with yourself first. Acknowledge what's real. Then, when you're ready, share it with someone who matters. Not perfectly, not all at once, just honestly. Because in the end, it's not the mistakes you made that stay with you the longest. It's the things you never said.